This little stick man represents you. You are working in Obsidian, you have a lot of notes, and this is representing you with the Obsidian vault that you have. But in this vault, you have some notes, some Obsidian notes. And for some reason, you want to collaborate with somebody else outside of your vault on this note. Up until now, there's no clear way or easy way to do it. The normal way to share notes is to make a copy of it, send it to somebody else, and then having to re-add it to your vault, or sharing a Google Vault with somebody else that's also connected to it, or Obsidian Sync, which does not work too well with live collaboration. But today I'm going to go through a way that you can share your Obsidian notes with other people via the internet. So you create a live version of your note, which people can then join and then write to directly to your Obsidian vault. Or people can join directly using their own Obsidian vault to your note, which means that they can come and they can collaborate with you on your Obsidian note. Now, this is a new way of sharing notes, of sharing folders in Obsidian. And I'm going to walk you through how to achieve this, the pros, the cons, and everything in between. The Peerdraft website gives you a quick overview of what you can do with this plugin or this tool. And as you can see, collaboration for Obsidian, sync, share, and edit anywhere. This adds another dimension of working with your personal knowledge management system and collaborating, for the first time, collaborating with somebody else in real time. You can see there's a little bit of a screenshot, which we'll go through a little bit later as how it looks. You can see that Jane and France is working on the same documents together in real time. And there's a couple of pros: seamless collaboration, works instantly, share folders, Obsidian plugin, real-time collaboration, fleeting sessions, and web editor. And this is an important bit where people who don't have Obsidian can collaborate with you in your Obsidian. You can share a specific page, like a meeting note, if you're having a meeting with somebody, and collaborate with them in real time, that you can get that information, that collaboration, that information from somebody else into your system. We have basically two tiers. We have the forever free, and I don't see any need yet for myself to go to the $2.5 a month, which is nothing. For me, this has worked just fine. But if I want to do the persistent shares, then I'll probably move over to the 2.5 per month. But for now, all you need to know is the forever free tier, just getting started, learning how to collaborate with somebody else. The forever free tier should be fine for you. So if we head to Obsidian, let's start exploring how this works. And this is my Evergreen Vault, which is an Obsidian vault which have all my knowledge and theory in it, as well as having it set up for daily to yearly journaling and daily note taking, as well as work, so meetings and project management, and just general note taking. So to this vault, we have all the theory. We have this vault set up with templates for daily note taking, for meetings, for people. So this covers everything from journaling, daily to yearly roll-up, as well as work. So if you have a work with a lot of meetings, a lot of knowledge that you need to process, this vault is set up to get you started with that. Now today, we're going to go to Obsidian functionality and guides, and this is where I'm working on collaborating tools. And the plugin that we're looking at is the Peerdraft community plugin. And this is just where I'm going to have a little bit more information for the people that buy this vault, for them to have something to refer back to. So they have the video as well as this guide. So installation is quite simple. Just go to community plugins and activate it. And you just need to fill in your email address and you get sent a one-time activation code in order to use it. The important thing is if you want to share it with somebody else, only you have to basically register your email. The person that you are sharing the link with, the collaborating link with, the URL essentially, they don't need to sign up to anything. It's just the person that wants to share it or start the process of sharing a specific note or folder that they want to collaborate on. So installation, quite simple. Just go install the Peerdraft community plugin. Now how to use. Community plugins, Peerdraft enable and you get the access code. So that's part of the installation. Then we have 3 types of sharing. We have fleeting, persistent, and folders. Fleeting notes, if we go to the website, we can see what the difference is between fleeting and persistent share. Fleeting sessions is a once-off share. So examples, workshopping a text you've written. So let's say there's one document that you quickly want somebody's feedback on in real time. You can go to your Obsidian, you can click on share through Peerdraft, and you basically get given a URL that you can give your counterpart. And this person that's collaborating on it with you can either open it through Obsidian, or they can open it up through a URL, meaning they don't need Obsidian, which is pretty fantastic. And then after you close the note is stopped sharing, meaning it's not synced between the URL and your Obsidian anymore. So it's for once-off collaboration. Then we have persistent shares, which in the name persistent, it's ongoing. It's for when you want to share ongoing things and have an ongoing collaboration with somebody. So an example of this would be a team knowledge base. Or if you're into role-playing games, role-playing game campaigns. So everybody have access to these, whether it's online or in the Obsidian. So let's go through an example of a fleeting session. Let's create a note and let's open it up. So now we created a new note in our Obsidian and we want to share this note. Step 1 is right click on note, Peerdraft, and if you right click and we go to Peerdraft, we can see share file, and then it's gonna give us 2 options between fleeting and persistent share. For this example, we want fleeting share. Fleeting session, persistent share, so let's choose fleeting session. And when you click that option, it automatically copies the URL to your clipboard. So if you want to share URL with collaborating partner, you can either just paste it, or if you're uncertain if you have the right one, you can go to Peerdraft and you can say copy URL. Step 2, collaborator joins via URL. And this can happen either in their web browser or their Obsidian, their personal Obsidian vault. So let's go with the web browser first. So if we go here and we just paste our URL. So let's say we are Abigail 401. Why not? Now this is where we can work together. Unfortunately, you cannot see with a fleeting share. I don't think it's possible, or it might be possible in future releases, that you can see what the other person is working on. But you can see that from Obsidian Vault person A, this is me. This is me, Mario. And from this side, same thing. Let's make a heading, and from web browser, it's me, Luigi. I don't know how to spell Luigi. And as you can see, this works pretty well if you want to quickly collaborate on a note with somebody, and this person then basically is allowed to write directly into your vault. Now you might ask, okay, well, what happens if I want to stop? I don't want this person to be able to write into my vault all the time. Well, there's a couple of ways you can stop the share. You can either close down all the windows that you have open, or, and there we go. So actually we can see who writes where. So if it doesn't immediately pop up, go to your first note that's open. So that makes sense. If there's 2 notes open, the same one, then you are not going to see the changes that's being made. Test. So let's try this again to see the person. So open fleeting note and go to edit mode. Okay, so maybe just open up another note and then you can start seeing who is making edits on both sides. So that's a cool discovery that it's a little bit of a bug, but eventually I'm guessing that the person who created this, I'll put his YouTube channel in the description as well, because I think it's an awesome tool that he's creating. He is very active on improving this tool. So if you want to close the session, you don't want somebody to share or be able to write into your vault anymore, then you can just close all of those open notes that you have. So if I close this one, any changes that's being made, let's just quickly test. A change after windows were closed. If we open up that note again, fleeting note session example, you can see that the changes didn't carry through. Now, if you want to make double sure that it is closed, you can right click, you can go to Peerdraft, and there would be an option that you can end the fleeting session. So if I do this again, fleeting session, and I go and type in the new fleeting session URL, you can see that there's changes being made. So if we go to this, you can see that on the URL, my name is being reflected, and you can see my name is Version. But if I go to Virgin, if I go to Peerdraft, I can change my name to It's Me, D. And now if I refresh, I guess, or if I share a new URL, my name would be D instead of Version. And this one is Anonymous27. This can also be changed to Anonymous30 if you want to be rebellious. And then you can see Anonymous30. Now, one way to end the share is to right click, go to Peerdraft and say stop syncing with this vault, which means that if there's more than one person that have this active share going on, they can continue editing, and that means that the session would remain live for them, or you can stop the syncing for everybody. And you just click it, and there's just a protocol that you need to say yes. Now, sometimes it does not immediately stop a share, and there's also no real way to find out if it has been stopped for the person on the URL side. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're working on a note, just have continuous contact. Just have continuous communication with them in order to find out if you have stopped the sharing or if the sharing is still going on. Because sometimes it's a couple of small bugs that pops up. But I mean, if this is for a quick collaboration, it shouldn't be such a big problem. We don't have any other tool yet that allows us to quickly collaborate with somebody else. So this tool is still amazing, even though it has small little bugs which the developer is ironing out. He's extremely active. So now we have gone through the fleeting note session share, and you can do it with as many pages as you want, but that's just for once-off collaboration. We might as well do one more example to show you how the fleeting share works within Obsidian. So let's say you want to quickly share a note which you want to collaborate on with somebody, but they have Obsidian. Why would you want to go to your web browser if you can just do it inside of your Obsidian, and they can do it inside their Obsidian as well? So let me pull up another Obsidian vault next to this one. So as you can see, on the left-hand side, we have my personal vault, and on the right-hand side, we have the Evergreen vault. So think of the left side as person A and the right side as person B. And person A wants to share a note with person B. They don't want to use URL like we did with the previous fleeting note share, where you have a URL and you basically give it to the collaborator, the person that you want to collaborate with, paste in the URL, and then they work based off of the URL interface. Now, person A wants to collaborate with person B, but they don't want to give the URL so that person B, the person with the night version of Obsidian, they don't want that person B to go to their web browser of choice and paste in the URL and make edits on the editor on the web browser. They would rather want them to do it inside of the Obsidian as well. I mean, we're both working with Obsidian. Why not stay in Obsidian? So let's create a dummy folder, and in this dummy folder we have a test. Person A's note shared with person B. So person A wants to share a note with person B. As easy as right-clicking on the note, go to Peerdraft, share file. Let's stick with a fleeting session for now to show you how fleeting sessions works when you want to stay inside of Obsidian, if both individuals, if both collaborators have Obsidian. So we have, please log into Peerdraft, so sometimes you need to do this. I'm going to hide my email address. Then you just send the login code, you paste it in, and log in for this session only. So you can see there's a shared icon, this little blue square with the arrow inside of it. It means that this note is being shared. You are actively sharing this note. In person B, the person with the dark version of Obsidian, in order to collaborate on this note, so let's just say person A notes, blah, blah, blah. Let's say person B wants to now collaborate on this note with person A. What you do is you press Command P or Windows P to open up your command palette, and you type in Peerdraft, and you say join session and add document from someone else. Now this is something that we want to do. We enter the URL that has automatically been copied, or you can go to the note that you're sharing, right click, go to Peerdraft and say copy URL. And we just say OK. So now there's a couple of things that you need to know. We can see that this note has automatically been created in this Peerdraft test folder, which I already created. So I would advise just to keep Peerdraft, the things that you collaborate on, separate from the rest of your vault. Create a folder called Peerdraft or Peerdraft test, and make sure that all the things that you collaborate on will fall inside of this folder. When you go to settings and you go to Peerdraft, you can see that there's a root folder option. When you import a share from someone else, it will be created in this folder. Then you just reference that folder. It is something that you would need to do. Do it on both sides. Well, both sides. You only work on your side, but the other person should also have that. And it's advisable that when you collaborate with somebody, let them have the same folder on the outside of your folder structure. And I'll tell you why later on. But important, just have a Peerdraft folder named exactly the same as your collaborators. And then it's easier to work with Canva, because we can collaborate with Canva as well, which I'll show later. So very important, go to Peerdraft, create a new folder on the outside of your file directory, and call it Peerdraft or Peerdraft test. And every new share will end up in this folder. So person A note shared with person B. Let's see how it works. As soon as we type, we can see that both sides shows where the collaborator is busy typing. So if I go to blah, 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 you can see that Scarfawesome, which is my gamer tag, he's editing under person A's notes. So if I type in person B's notes, you can see that person A can see where I am typing at the current moment typing. And again, with the URL version, if you want to stop sharing, it's quite simple. You can just go to the note, right click, Peerdraft, and stop syncing for everyone. Safety purposes, type in yes that you want to stop sharing. And you can see it immediately falls away. So you can't see the person A popping up anywhere. So that means that it's not being shared anymore. And any changes that I make here won't be reflected. Any changes that person B makes won't be reflected to person A. So once person A is done collaborating and they don't want to keep this note, they can obviously just delete it. So because it's shared through Obsidian, it means that it's kind of a persistent share, which means that they would also need to stop syncing it for everybody. So let's just say stop syncing for everybody. And yes. So now if it's done, they can delete this node. So that's everything related to fleeting nodes. Now we're going to get to the interesting stuff, the folders, sharing of folders. And with sharing within Obsidian, I think everything is persistent, meaning that changes made, even if your Obsidian is offline, will get updated as soon as you log back in. So it's basically meant for this Wikipedia shared by people. That's why you need to create a folder outside of your directory just to keep things separate from your personal vault. So let's say we have a couple of things that we're working on. Let's change this note to collaboration note 1, and let's have another one, collaboration note 2. And then we want to make it a little bit spicy. We want to add a new canvas, and let's just call it Canva 1. And all three of these things we want to share. So that means that in this Peerdraft test, we want to create a new folder, collaboration folder with person B. And let's just put everything into that folder that we want to share. So let's see what happens. We can see on person B's Peerdraft test folder, there's nothing in there. Person A has this folder, collaboration with person B, and there's 3 things inside of it. And you can add a Canva board as well. You can add a new folder, so you can have a couple of subfolders. So let's say we want to share this whole folder. Let's do it. Let's right-click, Peerdraft, share folder. Everything is as per usual. You can see that there's this cute little blue box with an arrow that shows that this is being made shareable. We go to person B and we do the same thing. We say Command P, or we can go to this icon here on the left hand side, show my Peerdraft shares, which automatically pops up once you download the community plugin. So we can either click there, or we can go to Command P and say Peerdraft and join session, add document from somebody else. So let's add the document. And here we can see everything is being synced. So it automatically syncs that whole folder, collaboration folder with person B. And inside we have all 3 elements, all 3 notes, or 2 notes in one canvas. Let's go to collaboration note 2. On collaboration note 2, we can see that D pops up. And let's just say person B. And here we say person A notes. These are my notes, and it works the same as a fleeting session, person B's notes. Now, a very cool thing is if you have exactly the same folder structure, folder directory, meaning you have Peerdraft test spelled exactly the same, and you have the subfolders which is spelled exactly the same, it means that the reference to the notes, the directory of the notes, meaning this collaboration note is within collaboration folder with person B, within Peerdraft test. That whole lineage of where this file is being saved is the same on both sides. It means that you can go to a Canva, we both can go to Canva, and person A can drag in this note, and it would pop up in person B's Canva as well. Now, if this directory, this structure, this, file path is not exactly the same, meaning spelt exactly the same in exactly the same place, this note won't pop up because it does not know when person A puts it in the Canva, it does not recognize that the paths are a little bit different, and it does not go find a new path. So the path, the file location needs to be exactly the same. But that means you can do some cool stuff. So you can work on a Canva together. And this is pretty cool. And you can type stuff within the Canva, person A can go to this collaboration node 2 in the Canva. And let's just zoom in here to see what happens. And person A can say, I am making edits. Let's just zoom in. From the Canva board. And if I press enter, it should pop up here. Which for some reason it don't. So sometimes it takes a while for the changes to reflect. And I would say when that is the case, just give it some time or just click into the node. And you can see as soon as we clicked in it, the changes are being reflected. So there's a little bit of delay between the notes and Canva. But if you click in it, we both can collaborate on this node. Let's just make this a little bit smaller and this a little bit smaller. We can see that we both can make notes while we're in this Canva together. Making notes from Canva. So as soon as you're going to click into this note, or if you just go to that note itself, and you go to edit mode, a very important thing, if you're in reading mode, you won't be able to see where the person is making edits, but as soon as you change to edit mode, you can see. So let's say person B, which is D in this case, makes changes here. Person A can see it on the Canva board. So this means that we can basically collaborate on Canva with people, and you can have multiple people as well. So hello there. And this person can also do this and say, hi there, I love you. And then this person is like, oh, thanks, man. Rar means I love you in dinosaur. And you can just link stuff together. And this is a nice way to brainstorm. And a very cool thing, this is not where it stops, because we still have that URL. The URL can be shared from both places. So we can, from both sides, we can stop syncing for everybody. So this is a collaborated vault, which makes it a little bit dangerous because this person can also probably stop syncing it for everyone. But let's say we copy the URL and we go to the browser and we paste in the browser. You can see that we have all the notes. We have access to all the notes in that folder. Now, obviously, Canvas won't work in your browser. It's not going to do anything because it just won't work. But the notes, you can go make notes. So the third person or fourth person or fifth person, they can come to the URL and they can start making notes as well. Notes here. And then when we go to the collaboration note 2, collaboration note 1, we can see that the person from browser has been added here. And that is how we collaborate using Peerdraft in Obsidian. And even if you go away, when you come back, you'll be able to see the changes that has been made. So let's test this out. Because, like I said, there's still a couple of bugs. Sometimes when you create a new file within this folder structure, it takes a while for it to reflect. And I tested it, sometimes it takes up to like 2 minutes. But that's just a small bug, so let's try it. Let's quickly try to make a new note. You see, it's instantaneous. It is quick to pop up at the other side, but it's not always the case. Sometimes you need to wait a minute or two. And let's just test it out, test note 3. And that's also immediate. And we can see that you can make changes to it in real time. It is extremely quick. Let's see when we create a new folder. Test folder. So we can see there's no blue arrow for this test folder. And I'm not sure if it is still in the process of being shared, or if it's just something that is outside of the sharing, let's say, parameters. If you want to share it, you would need to share it again. Or if you want to share the entire folder, you would probably need to stop syncing and then reshare it, so that you can ask the person that have the new folder that they want to add. You ask everybody to, listen, we're going to share a new link, and then they get all the documents from, let's say, person A or person B who have created the new folder. But sometimes, I'm not sure, it takes a while for it to reflect. So let's quickly check. If we say, if we reload our Obsidian, reload app without saving, the test folder is still there. You can see that even though we technically closed down our Obsidian and reopen it, we can see that it's still an active share, which means it's a persistent share. And let's check on the left side. If we say reload app without saving, it looks like only logged into Peerdraft. So that's why it takes a little bit of time for you to come up to speed with what's going on. So if it looks a little bit weird, meaning just one note looks like it's being shared, just give it some time, or close and reopen it. Let's do it. Reload. So even though there's a couple of bugs, I would say don't let that deter you from using this plugin, because there's no good alternative. Especially with the fleeting notes, it works quite well 99% of the time. With this, it means that one of you will have the correct, let's say, set of information, meaning folders and notes. So it's not the end of the world. I would just say, still in the beginning when you use it, just be in communication with the people that you're collaborating with to make sure that there's nothing weird happening. But again, there's no good alternatives. This is the best alternative for collaborating within an Obsidian Vault for free. So we can see that there's still something weird going on. So let's quickly check Peerdraft. Let's test if we make changes. Test, test. Okay, so that means it is not sharing anymore. So from this side, we should probably delete this. Well, let's first go look at the URL to see what the URL thinks, what is going on. So here we also don't have that folder. So that means that when you create a new folder, it does not get shared as part of the main folder that you shared. So that's probably not a good idea. So let's just delete that. And let's see what happens when we decide to share from person B now. So let's first just stop with this note sharing. So stop syncing with this vault. And you can see it does not share anymore. So that's beautiful. So let's say stop syncing for everyone. And we just say yes. And let's give it some time. Peerdraft. Stop syncing with this vault. So sometimes the stop syncing also takes a minute or two. If you want to make it a little bit quicker, you can just say stop syncing with this vault. And let's share it from this side. So share folder. And let's see what happens when we want to have person B share this folder, which we already have here in person A's vault. So Peerdraft, start working together on manage active persistent shares, join a session and add documents from somebody else. The third option. Add the URL. And we can see that it created an entirely new folder at the top, which is interesting because Because we didn't specify a root folder. So Peerdraft test. So this is why it's important to have a root folder. Otherwise, it's just going to add folders to the main directory in your, let's say, main folder. So Peerdraft test. Let's delete this. Stop syncing with this vault, and let's delete this. And let's try that again. Peerdraft, join session and add document. We add the URL. We can see it detects that you already have a folder with that name, so it just changes the name a little bit. But that's going to be a problem when you're working on the canvas, because this canvas have these two nodes, and the directory behind them says Peerdraft test, collaboration folder with person B, and then this note. That is how it knows to make this note show up here. But if you go to this side, it works. That's interesting. Oh, okay, no, it only works because we have this here already. So you can see, even though we imported this folder, when we go to this canvas, it goes to these collaboration nodes because it's following this directory, which is exactly the same as this one. So if we delete this, and we delete this again, and we go through the same thing, Peerdraft, join session, add document from somebody else. Now everything should be working fine. So I want to see, we try to add a folder from the second person, not the main person that started the share. But what if the main person, person B in this case, started the share? What if the first person to initiate the share creates a folder? What happens then? And I think it's the same thing. So it does not get shared until you create that share. Okay, but then that's basically what I wanted to go through. Just an easy way to share and collaborate notes using Obsidian. Also to share and collaborate with people who do not have Obsidian. I hope you guys have found this valuable. If you want to have a little bit of a head start with your PKM journey, I have consulting services which help people build out their own personalized personal knowledge management system. I have years of experience. I have better understanding than almost anyone on this planet Earth when it comes to managing your knowledge. I also have a couple of Obsidian bolts for specific purposes that I have available for purchase. So the one that I showed you today, all of these extra theories are related to Peerdraft and collaboration. That comes from the Evergreen Vault. So that is where we have this home page and we have all the theory and walkthroughs. You can see in this Obsidian functionality and guides, this is where I'm going to add all the things that I spoke about in today's video. I'm going to add it as a theory note in our Evergreen Vault as well. I have two other vaults, and the Evergreen Vault basically combines these two. But the first one is the Work Vault, which specializes in white-collar workers. So if you have a lot of meetings, if you have a lot of knowledge that you need to assimilate and work with and remember, creating your own personalized Wikipedia, and you have a lot of stakeholder management, that vault is for you. It makes working just so much easier. And then we have a journal daily to yearly roll-up vault, which just specializes on reflecting, meaning journaling every day, roll up to weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly, and also helps you with just general note taking. Like I said, if you want to speed up your personal knowledge management journey, book a consulting session. The link is in the description. And until next time, remember that the walls in Spain is 6 feet high. This high.